So, in the last lecture, we discussed the definition of system thinking along with some examples and the importance of systems thinking. Today, we move ahead from there and we will discuss how we can engage in systems thinking. So, as the word here, thinking, is suffixed after system. So we have this phrase of systems thinking. This highlights that this is not just some training which can be gained in order to become a systems leader. It is more or less an ongoing process and one gets better with experience. So it is a thinking approach, it is a cognitive approach, and a holistic approach towards decision making, towards problem solving, towards implementing new ideas and projects. So it is more of a tool for a systems thinker. So Laila Akaraglu, she has delved into the specific terminology which we can relate to systems thinking, and it lays a framework for a systems thinker to gradually move from disconnection to interconnections of ideas and parts of a system, interconnections of stakeholders. So one has to see the larger picture and one has to foresee events before they occur. Then Laila Akaraglu also focuses that systems thinking should be more of a circular approach rather than a linear. That is, if you're just there's a cause and you come up with a solution, that doesn't mean that the solution is a permanent solution because this solution might cause a problem in some other area. So, one cannot think in silos, in isolation. One cannot just look at one department and in other department in complete different sets. One has to sort of see how different parts they come together, different departments, different sections, and what synthesized solution emerges from there, or what synthesized approach should be taken in order to address problems in all areas and to um, mitigate problems which might result from solution in one area. Then instead of seeing one part, one has to see the whole picture and whole organization rather than just one single department. And synthesis of ideas and synthesis of solutions both is important rather than just isolated events taking place in different parts of that organization. And here interrelationships need to be worked out. How, when you try to implement an initiative in one part of the system, it might trigger, just like a domino effect, other changes in different other parts. So a systems thinker has to look at the larger picture, synthesize ideas, and synthesize the solution options in order to reach a final workable solution. So these are some of the systems mapping models which one can adopt when trying to solve a problem and implement some solutions or a new approach or a new idea or a new project in their own settings. So iceberg model is quite popular, where you see the events which are happening on the surface. So this is which is the part which is visible to everyone in their workplaces. So they can see certain things happening in various departments or in their particular domain. What a systems thinker will do then is try to establish the pattern in these changes, like why is this happening. So you just can't see the particular problem in isolation. You need to work out the causes of that problem, what might be causing that problem. So what are the possible solutions, and then you have to weigh all the solutions in order to check whether the solution would address the problem in long term, or whether it will be just temporary solution, or it might happen that it will address the particular problem in this event, but it might cause trigger something, um, some other problem in other departments. So you need to work out the causal loops. So solution here might become a problem for this department, and this might just go on in a circular fashion. And then this is another mental model which is adapted by many systems thinkers, where they find a solution. They just randomly they plot all the stakeholders, all the possible people or the departments which can be impacted by their decision. So they just map them on a circle and then try to work out how a particular decision in one area might impact the other stakeholders or other decision making areas in various other departments. So these are some of the approaches to systems thinking. And this is another very popular approach where you draw cluster maps. This was again proposed by Laila Karaglu, where she advised that one might adopt this approach of just placing all the stakeholders. You can just try to place all the stakeholders randomly and see how they are interconnected. So, just for example, if you want to set up a new science lab in your school, so it's not only about science department. Suppose A is science department, you will have to check with the finances as well. Then you will have to check with professional development department, where you will need to train your teachers or have more lab technicians. Then you will have to check with the infrastructure department, where construction, then contracts, HR, and other aspects might come into place. You will have to again go back to the community and check with parents whether they are okay with this or not, whether they can contribute financially, whether they are able to help their children in that kind of approach. Then you have to check with policymakers, or you might have to check with town planning. So there are so many other stakeholders involved in a simple decision of just establishing a lab. So this is what is called systems thinking, and cluster mapping is one of the approaches where you can just see who are the stakeholders. So before actually going about with implementing this plan of having a new lab, you may the approach might be to assess the impacts elsewhere and try to put mechanisms in place which might help you to integrate all these aspects in your decision making. So this is where this systems thinking is integrated into leadership characteristics of a systems leader. So the key elements are the system itself, the community, and the systems leader. So the system or the complex system inside. So the leader should be able to assess what is going on in their workplace, what are the causes behind it, and what might be the possible solutions, long-term solutions. Then they have to work out who are the stakeholders, and now they have to go and convince these stakeholders of the problem which is existing and the possible solutions. You just can't railroad your ideas, you need to build a consensus. So a systems leader should have those advocacy tactics and those skills where they can persuade and convince other stakeholders. And for this, a systems leader should be collaborative and have leadership skills, like they should be inspiring, they should be motivating, they should be sort of democratic in their working, where they listen to everyone and they allow certain autonomy for people to, with expertise of course, to take decisions. So, and this is another framework, clear framework, where systems thinking can be applied to bring about an effective systems change. So the acronym is clear, where C stands for convene and commit. You need to build a team of all the experts and stakeholders, and then you present your problem there. Allow the team to look and learn and from the problem from each other. From different experts will share their own ideas and their own solutions. So everyone will discuss in a constructive manner, they will engage, and you need to motivate your team in order to reach a solution and implementation plan. So once everyone brainstorms and comes up with a unanimous implementation plan, then you as a leader can move ahead to act with accountability. Accountability is something which is very important for ethical implementation of plans, and also to see that all the rules regulations are followed in a timely and organized manner. So, and the last aspect of this framework is R. It is for review and revise. There should be protocols and mechanisms in place to assess the progress of your plan. And if there are some drawbacks, if you see some barriers, and there might be some unprecedented events which might uh, need a relook at the plan, so you should be able to review it and revise your plans accordingly so that the final aim and the final goal is achieved. So this is how a systems leader can work. This is sort of a summary of the leadership performance as a systems thinker: collaboration, strategic planning, organizational vision and growth, and most importantly, organizational resilience and adaptability, and change management. So, these are the areas where you can apply systems thinking. And now that we have looked at the implementation methods also of systems thinking, uh, you might reflect on what are the different models which can be adapted for systems mapping, and which one would you prefer as a leader in your own context, in your workplace. You might be coming from education, you might be coming from um, uh, some other work background like consultancy or um, law or primary school or university background. So, where would you apply which kind of systems mapping? You can discuss with your friends now what are the various steps involved in clear framework which a leader can adopt, what are the various stages, and also maybe you can just reflect on the limitations and then the way forward, the benefit of a clear framework. So this is a wrap up of systems thinking. So what are the key systems thinking models? We just saw iceberg model, the causal loop diagram, and the stock and flow diagrams. Then the clear framework, which connects people together, where you as a leader listen and the team members listen to each other, they educate each other to build an understanding and consensus on the basic requirements. Then you act to implement those changes based on the insights gained, and then you review the plan to continually evaluate and adjust strategies. So, as a systems leader, you should be visionary, collaborative, adaptable, empathetic towards everyone, and most importantly, you should be a strategic leader who can apply systems thinking to inform decision making and drive change. So, hopefully, you as a systems leader can gain a lot from this lecture. Thank you.